Welcome to Season 2 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. Here's your hosts, Matt Cook and Bobby Brown. Here we go, folks. Episode number 19 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. And I can't tell you how excited I am tonight as we have our very first PGA Tour pro and media personality, but Bobby Brown, co-host of the Pull Hook Golf Show. Why don't you give a quick introduction to our special guest tonight?
I don't think there's any introduction needed, really. Every episode just keeps getting better and better and better. And this guy has not only been a world-class player for a long, long time, I consider him a really good friend. We've talked about things other than golf for many years now, and he answers the phone when I call, which is a big thing out of a PGA Tour pro. That doesn't happen very often anymore. So Matt Every's here, folks.
Wow.
Matt Every, the legend.
And that was really nice.
Makes you feel warm and cozy, right?
Oh, geez.
I got goosebumps.
Cheers to that.
I know, just getting choked up over here.
This is I figured when you came on, this was the one episode, because we all know how I like to ramble. This is the one episode where I'm going to be such a good listener. I'm going to be a really good listener tonight.
Bobby's been saying this for days now, Matt, ever since you agreed to come on. I don't believe that it's going to be truthful, but we'll see as we go along.
We'll see.
Now,
we'll see.
We're going to start off with the softball, so to speak, and we've been asking each of the caddies that we've had on recently. We've interviewed 3 straight caddies. Now we're getting to PGA Tour Pro, and we're kind of flipping the script, so to speak. So we've got those insights from them. Want to get a little bit of insight from yourself, and what was the path that you took in order to get on to the PGA Tour?
Oh man. I guess through high school I played pretty much everything growing up. I think golf just, all right, I'm not pumping my own tires, but I was pretty good at everything. And golf hit me at like a perfect time in my life where I just fell in love with it, and I was obsessed, and I just did this at like a perfect age. It was probably like 15 years old to like 21 years old was just nonstop this. And it was just timing for me. I kind of knew in college that golf was it, like, where I don't have another choice, but I don't want another choice. Like, this is just going to work out for me. And it did. I mean, everyone's got their own path, but I loved it.
So did it go straight from college to the tour, or how did that work out?
So I kind of walked on at Florida. I wasn't like a high profile junior player. And then when I got on the team, my freshman year, our 5 guy got the shanks like late in the year. I was the 6th guy. I got subbed in the postseason, and I played really well. And then it was like a huge confidence boost for me. And that was kind of like the only thing that was missing at the time. And once that happened, like at nationals, I think I either finished 8th or 12th. And I wasn't even supposed to play in nationals.
That's a pretty good showing.
Yeah, no, it was. And it was eye-opening for me. It was like, it gave me real belief. Like I knew my shit works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And ever since then, then I was first team All-American the next 3 years. And wow. I basically walked on at college. So it went like that. And then when I got out of school, I won like the Ben Hogan Award my junior year. Was a low amateur at the Open. I was pretty full of myself too. So
for you,
I should have been.
Of course.
So yeah. So that being said, every other sport, if you're the best in college, you get drafted into the pros and boom, you're in. Our sport, you are what you are. I mean, it doesn't matter. So you go to Q school, and I missed at Q school my first try. I might have missed my first couple tries. anyways, I got status one year. Whenever I made it through, I got status on the web, or the whatever it was called, Nationwide Tour.
I know it's changed names so many times.
Yeah, Nationwide Tour. And I ended up getting my card through there. I won the tour championship. I was like, I needed to finish solo third or better the last week to get my card, and I won. It was in Daniel Island, near where Bob lives.
Yes,
And
yes, I live right across the street from there now.
Yeah, and it was that changed my life, that win. And it was like
Awesome.
off on the tour, and tour's been a roller coaster too, but that's kind of how I got there.
Nice. Yeah,
awesome.
Bobby, you want to kick us off with the next question here?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start with him, to tell you the truth. I mean, he's had such a great career. I mean, I know it's been up and down and that kind of stuff, but Matt, where are you at right now? I mean, I know your status isn't where you'd like it to be. I know you're transitioning into TV. That's something that we're going to talk about a little later. Where are you at?
I'm just in a weird spot. Golf's been very weird to me, the last 3 or 4 years, especially. I have past champion status out here, so, and I want to play. Like, I love competing, and I want to play well. But I wasn't getting in any tournaments this year, so I wasn't really practicing. And the TV stuff, I also know that there's a future for me there. And I did it a couple weeks. I did it a couple weeks this summer, and I loved it. I was worried about a couple things, but they ended up being there were no issues with what I was worried about saying like a lot, and saying and I did the whole time, neither. So I was pumped about that.
Hey, touche to that, by the way, because in media, it is very difficult. You'll find words that you say over and over again, and like we know it as individuals, but like people don't realize it on broadcasts and so forth. But that is pretty cool that you went through it without any really spacers.
So I kind of, had been pouring a little more into that, and I have a clothing line too with two of my buddies that I've been very involved with in the last year, and it's been taken off. So we've had our hands full there. So golf's kind of been like, to be fair, I've always been I know it's in there, I'll just practice the week before kind of guy. Right. And I know that's burned me plenty of times thinking that way, but that's kind of how I have to like live my life right now. Like I don't have it in me to go, I don't know if I'm going to play for the next 2 months. Am I really going to go to the range every day and grind? Like, no, I'm not. Like, I want to play. But I'm also realistic. So if I find something and it works, hell yeah, I'm going to roll with it. And I'm a dog, man. I just need to get in there. If I find something to get me into position, like I'll figure it out. But if I don't, that's okay. And I'm way ready to entertain.
I got a question for you. This is a pretty good question, I think. Is it fun? Is it like, obviously you're playing this week, and I know you played the last few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Is it still fun for you? Is it still fun?
Is it? Yes. Even like when I withdraw or something, like I promise at some point I've had fun. There are plenty of reasons other than me being a bitch. Like there's plenty of reasons that I've withdrawn.
That's why I love this guy so much. It's such a breath of fresh air, because I've always said this about Matt Every. He's so real, right? He's a real person. There's no phoniness there. He tells you exactly what you think and what he thinks, and he gets right to the point. And man, I dig that about you, Matt. I caddy for Matt. I caddy for Matt. We should dive right into that.
Did you? Wait a second.
I did.
So 16 years on tour, and Bobby Brown had a stint with Matt. So I need to hear this.
Bob got me. Okay. Bob got me at the wrong time in my life.
But I will say this. I'll give everybody the details, but I do it all. It didn't work out for either one of us.
St. Andrews 2015.
Yes. What a coincidence. So we just finished St. Andrews with a great tournament.
Last week.
Hey, let's give a little shout to Well, I'm going to say Pinner first, Sam Pinner, the caddy.
Me
and then
too.
Cam
I'm going to
Smith.
say Pinner first,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Pinner's my boy, man. You mean
But-
nights I've had with that guy crying at like 4 a.m.? This is freaking best.
those are actually mornings. 4 a.m.
Oh, whatever.
But I'll tell you
and
about-
Cam too. What an animal, man!
What a stud.
Just
What a
that's just
stud.
sweetheart and just a total dog.
Yeah, such
And
a
the
character.
greatest mullet. I mean, my God, is that
Yeah,
thing
for sure.
scraggly? And
For
it
sure.
is just, and then the
For sure.
mustache and the flat brim.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got it.
Man, he's
got it.
entertaining. Obviously, Matt knows him very well. I've been paired with him a bunch, and he's obviously a great player. But he's kind of he's kind of a little character out there on the golf course too. You know what I mean?
He won me over when he decided to have his fishing gear at one of the tournaments last year and decided just to go out fishing in the pond after a practice round. I mean, come on. Who's going out there doing that?
There you go. There you go. That's
he's great.
But let's back up a little. So it was. I'll tell you my well, you know, I'll tell you my little story. Obviously, I knew Matt was a great player. You know, I followed college golf, and I knew who he was coming out of college. Obviously, Billy was on that team. I know you're best buddies with Horschel and that kind of stuff, and they were both pretty highly regarded coming out of college. But I had finished my time with Dustin, and I went to work for Brendan Steele right after Dustin, and I believe it was 2014. And Matt's regular caddy, Derek Mason, who is
15.
Was it 15? Okay, there you go,
Yeah.
15. I'm slow with numbers. Maybe that's why my guys aren't winning very much. But it was 15, and I think Matt and Derek had. It's an interesting thing when really good friends work for each other. It can be really great during the great times, and it can be really not great when things aren't going good, right? So I think it was getting to the point where they were.
It was always great.
Oh, it was always great. See, that's why.
Well, it got to the point. Derek and I. Are we going to talk about Derek and I's relationship?
I mean, I mean, yeah, we need to. Don't.
I mean, he's my main guy.
Well, let's back up and let's go. Let's talk about, because this whole season is.
That's not really how.
Caddies. We hooked up because you had been calling me or texting me for a couple months. You're like, hey, I'm going to make a move, and I think you're basically telling me as soon as you get tired of Brendan Steele, please come to work for me. But let's end it there. And let's just go back to when you first came out and Derek Mason and your relationship with him, and you guys split up and divorced a couple times, didn't you? 2 or 3 times over the flow of things. And I'm not being negative. That's just real, right?
I mean, he's like my best friend.
Right.
Yeah, we were too good of friends, is what it was.
Right.
So I met him on the I met him on the Corn Fair or whatever it was called, the nationwide tour.
Web, probably. Yeah.
Web. Yeah, whatever. So I met him out there, and then he started caddying for me very early in my career on the tour, and we were just boys, man. I mean, we traveled together. Like, our biggest issue was neither one of us could say no to each other, and it kind of became a thing like later in life. You know, just it got fun. It got too fun, and it had to stop. And
okay, I got
so it was either caddying or, you know, a career. He needed a career change, and it was perfect. It was like I wanted him to have a career change, and he's doing awesome now. I just saw him like a couple weeks ago. I'll go like skiing with him in the winter and stuff. And
very good.
He is all time human being.
And I will vouch for that. And of course, he was on the bag both times you won Bay Hill, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
So that should tell you something. You know how Matt, we were saying last.
You know what else was cool as shit about me?
Tell me
about Derek and I. It was Derek and I.
Yeah.
It was literally Derek and I. Like, now you go on the range and, dude, each guy's got like fucking 4 or 5 guys with them.
It's a team.
And it's just, well, sure, whatever. But there's something cool as fuck to be standing there with just you and your caddy, and everyone else has got a fucking huddle around them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm totally with you because everybody now has these big teams full of agents and caretakers and everything that are out there on the
Yeah.
range. So, I mean, yeah, that is kind of cool just to think about that it was just the two of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
The song's
that's
playing in
got
my
to
head right now as I
special.
just the two of us.
That's got to
Well,
be that's got to be
fun-
special. So I guess
funny as hell.
we'll just fast
I got
let's fast
Panama playing in my head right now.
let's fast forward to our wonderful 9 tournaments together. I believe we did 9 tournaments together. 2015 St. Andrews British Open was the first one, and I knew I was going to do this at some point when Matt was calling me, and then I picked up the phone and called him. I had just the week before that I was at at Gullin. Things where he was having two. Can you hear me?
There you go. You're back.
Okay.
Technical
Better now?
difficulties. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Technical deal. I almost wanted to take these things off. But anyways, the week before the British, I had told Matt, I'm like, Matt, I want to do it. I want to come to work for you. Let's start at St. Andrews. I was at the Scottish Open with Steely and things were going okay, but he was having a bad day and I took some shit personal, whatever. And now that I look back at it 8 years later. So we started at the British Open. We did not make the cut. Do you remember who we played with the first 2 days?
Yeah, Dave Lingmerth and
yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't care about the other one. All I care about is Lingmerth because he was fucking
because he
through 11 holes.
And hit a golf shot for 11 holes and was 7 under.
Yeah, and he made every 30-footer on the planet. And do you remember we were standing on 12T, and you looked at me and you go, "This guy's fucking smoking me by like 13 shots right now, Bob. I'm not even playing that bad." I'll never.
It's like I love Dave Lingmerth, but you like look at him and you're like, God damn it, this guy's beating me. I mean, God, like,
and you hate that, and the athlete competitor in you. I know you so well. You fucking hate that when somebody's
it's a double-edged sword. Like they're also it's also I can go to bed at night and like when I was playing my best golf in my career, I could go to bed at night and say Dustin Johnson's better at golf than I am. If he's clicking and I'm clicking, he's better because of genetics. Yep. I mean, he's fucking 6'4" and like this, bro. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't get dealt about it bad hand at all, but I'm not 6'4" like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with admitting that. Like, but also at the same time, you look at other guys, and I'm like, that guy should never beat me in any sport ever.
Right.
You know?
Right. For sure. That's what makes you. That's what makes you you. So, anyways, I do 9.
I think there's plenty of other guys that are like that too. I can't be the only one.
You can't be the only one. No, you can't. No, you can't be the only one. That's for sure. So we missed the cut. We missed the cut at the British Open, but Matt was kind enough. I stayed at the same house with him. And it was the first time I really got to know him, and his agent Kevin Canning was staying with us this week, and mom. Your mom was there too. And actually it was like one of the coolest weeks that I remember because it was just Matt's just so chill, and I ended up developing a great relationship with him. But out of it, I developed a great friendship with your agent Kevin Canning, who also lives in Charleston, South Carolina, and we've been very close since then. And we missed the cut there, but never really didn't play that bad. Matt mentioned that I caught him at a bad time. Yeah, I caught him at a bad time, but it wasn't horrible. It was just one of those deals where he was missing cuts by 1 or 2 shots, and it could be a random foul ball with the driver, or it could be the same old story, a random missed 12-footer or 14-footer or 15-footer. But do you remember what I told you when I go, listen, I'm going to come to work for you, but here's the deal. You can't WD one time, and you're like, you got a fucking deal. And then you got a fucking deal. And then
I probably did like the next week.
No, I'm going to get into that story. No, you didn't. No, you were fine. Well, we made one cut, but of course it was Bridgestone, and there was no cut that week, but it was great. I mean, we made some cash. But I remember
you got me at a bad time, bro.
I did get you at a bad time. You were in the Sean Foley transition at that point. You had hired Sean Foley. I should back up and let people know that I think you're a complete field player, right? You're not super technical. I
agree with that too. Yeah.
That goes back to the athlete part, though. I mean, that natural ability.
It is, but also like the golf world now, it's changed so much, and it's almost hard not to like be dumb enough to not be technical because there's so much information. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you literally have to turn your brain off. It's like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. You know, like it's just, I know what's right and wrong now. I know numbers. I know how TrackMan numbers work. I know all this stuff works. And how can you not think about it a little bit? So it's crept in a little bit. It's not like extremely raw, but I don't think anyone's extremely raw anymore on the tour. Like,
I think even like Dustin, I think would have been the model years ago for being extremely raw, right?
Yeah.
He shot, and he, you know, changed his, you know, once I was out of the picture, he really got into the numbers of TrackMan and that kind of stuff. You know, with Butch, obviously now it's Claude. I don't think Claude's any Butch or anything close. Sorry, Claude, but I'm going to fucking say it. But, you know, Butch was I'm going to save that for the hit and run. I mean, I could just add that Garrick Higo hired Claude Harmon some months ago and then just fired him, and he's playing good all of a sudden. Siwoo Kim hired him for a while. Thank you.
Oh no, you're doing the hit and run early. You're dropping names.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it for a reason.
An axe to grind over there.
Well, yeah, I do. But that'll all be, as my favorite saying is, that'll all be in the book. And I got him hooked up with Siwoo. And
you better not knock me out in this book.
No, I'm not going to knock. There's nothing to say about you. I got nothing but love for you. All six chapters worth. And well, I'll just leave it like that with Claude. I just feel like Claude's got a little bit like this. You know what I mean? And I hate when people do that. You know, I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
But I got off track there a little bit. So we were talking about Dustin being the prototypical athlete, but that all changed for him when the TrackMan came out, and it reaped dividends for his iron game and obviously his wedge game and that kind of stuff. And so we did 9 weeks together, and we were close to making some cuts. You were with Sean Foley. You were about ready to transition out. We were somewhere. I can't remember where we were. Oh, I know where we were. We were playing a FedEx playoff event at not Ridgewood, but what's the other one? What's the other one that we played that had the square greens that Dustin ended up winning in a 3-rounder?
Is that Plainfield?
Yes, good call. That was Plainfield. And I think we were on the range there, and Foley was trying to tell you something, and Foley looked at me and he's like, "Bob, you understand what I'm saying, don't you?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're saying, Sean, at all. I almost feel like Sean Foley is so fucking smart. It goes over a guy's head like me. You know what I mean? I remember you turned around on the range and laughed at me, and you're like, I don't fucking know what he's saying either, to tell you the truth. But we got to Greensboro, and we were hanging in there in Greensboro. It was Friday, and we got to that last par 5, Matt. Do you remember the last par 5 over there? I guess it's 15 or so at Greensboro. And you hit one right, pretty far right, right? You're like, give me a fucking ball. And I tossed you a ball. And you hit another one pretty far right. And
I don't remember any of this, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the best part.
I can't wait to hear what happened, because
because you hit a third one and you piped it down the middle, and we got to the ball. He goes, you go, we're fucking out of here. I go, no, we're not out of here. You said you were going to WD, and you can go, but I'm going to keep walking. And you looked right in my face. You got 6 inches. You go, we are fucking out of here. I go, I'm not going. And you go, get in the fucking cart. And I go, okay, but I get the front seat. Do you remember that? You're like, fine, take the front seat. And we did, and the official comes over, and Mac's like, fuck my backup, man. This fucking driver of mine is my backup. And we went in, and that was it. And I think,
was it the one that was whistling?
Yes, it was.
I remember that. I was so. That's what happens. Okay, when I get like bent out of shape, it's usually like something that I just can't let go of. And Callaway they had this driver, I remember, and the back of it like had this like air slot, and every time the wind was a certain direction in my transition, it would whistle. It would be like a train, like that. It would be like right there, and it would freak me out, man, because you're like, you turn, and then all of a sudden you hear this noise right here, and it's like, I've never heard that noise in my life. Like, what the fuck is that? And you kind of flinch. Well, dude, if I'm trying to compete out there, and like, that's constantly happening, it was really annoying, I remember. But that driver probably did hurt my back.
I remember we went to after we after we, after
I'm
we pulled
loving this, by the way. If
after
for
we
the people that can't see the YouTube and are going to just listen to the podcast, I'm over here just giddy as shit, just smiling my ass off by these stories and watching you two just go back and forth with it.
well, it
Oh,
was
I
good.
love it.
They're good. There, it was good memories. But I remember Matt's like, oh, let's go to lunch. We went to some burger place for lunch or something like that. And we're sitting in the car eating burgers and corn dogs. I'll never forget. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And he just looks at me and goes, go get another bag, man. And I'm like, what? He's like, fucking just go get another bag. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
man, fucking we're boys and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I remember thinking to myself that I go, is he too cool that he says he needs to fire me and maybe change it up or something like that? And I remember I thought about that for like a couple days. And anyways, Kyle Stanley had lost his card or something like that. And I remember calling you and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go dip down and do those Corn Ferry Tour playoffs for Kyle Stanley. And he ended up getting his card back. And I called you. You're like, Bob, I don't even give a fuck about golf right now at this present moment. So just go do what you got to do. And here we are, I don't know, 7 years later, something like that. Let's talk about caddies, Matt. Let's talk about hiring and firing. Let's talk about and firing caddies.
Yeah, especially since you just brought up the example of how the two of you split very casually, by the way. That's actually probably one of the more casual stories.
Well, no, I'm just an easy. I mean, I'm pretty accountable for my stuff, and with Bob, that situation, like Bob was like the first like big time caddy that I'd had. Like it always been like my buddies, and then like, are you there?
Yeah, so Bobby's stuck, but we're okay.
Jesus Christ, Bob. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, you're good.
So Bob, it was like he came on board. My game was kind of struggling, and it was just bad timing. But I also was like, I felt a little bit of extra pressure because of Bob, a little bit. Like he was a big name, and like he was coming to work for me, and I'd not experienced that before, and so I felt like I let him down a little. And so at the end, like it was a no-brainer. Like I like Bob, I care about him, and I knew like my game was not close to turning around, and I didn't want him to be a part of it. Bob's a hustler, like that's just who he is, and I get that. So
the self-awareness out of you though is pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you talk about being a realist and so forth, and it's like it totally comes across, especially within your actions. Like hearing a story like that, it's like you were very self-aware that you're like, yeah, this isn't going to be a. I don't want to bog Bobby down, but at the same time, yeah, there you go, Bobby. You're
there. It just shot my iPad just went out on me. Now I'm on this phone, which I should have done in the first place. What did I miss?
Yeah.
Oh, you just missed the story. That's yeah, absolutely nothing. You're perfectly fine.
Bro.
Hang on a sec. Now I got to see if I can hear you guys on
Bobby,
this.
you know what's funny, Bobby, is that I just learned that you were kind of a big deal. He didn't hear that.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back again.
That's good. He doesn't need to hear
it. He doesn't need his head to blow up any more than it is.
Let's talk about hiring and firing caddies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
please do share.
I would say that firing.
Wait, let me ask you something. I was a decent caddy, right? I mean, I was a solid caddy out there. Okay, good.
Hey, that's why
carry on.
I'm dead.
Serious. Shut up. Carry on.
No, I'm dead serious.
I appreciate that. Never mind.
And you want to know what's sneaky? What you're always good at was having, and this is my buddy John Turcotte's really good at this too. Having good snacks in the bag is it's a big deal, dude.
Right, you know? right.
But you were always, but you were like, I knew, like, I respected everything that came out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? But mainly because of experience, but just also the way you carry yourself. I mean, you know it. You're a salesman.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
You could talk the pants off of anybody.
Lori will vouch for that.
Oh, jeez.
Once every 3 months, anyways. I'm getting slow.
Jeez. All right.
Anyways, back to caddies. What makes a good caddy? What makes a bad caddy? Let's keep it simple like that for starters.
Okay. For me, for me.
Yeah, for you.
Self-awareness, number one. Just don't be a fucking dipshit and
Right.
say dumb things. I don't want to be annoyed. And
Right.
I feel like it's hard to annoy me. The things that annoy me are like dad advice out there. And what I mean by that is, like, if there's water left and some guy says the miss is right here, it's like, no fucking shit. I mean, like, well, you think it's I mean, come on, dude. Like, you're wasting your breath and you're pissing me off just even insulting me saying that to me.
Right.
Honestly, just just vibe with me and let's go have some fun. I mean,
right.
That's it.
Right.
It's not that hard.
How many caddies you think you've had in your career? This is not that's not
more than more than 3 events together.
Yeah, more than 3 events together.
Okay.
Probably not as many as I think.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4 or 5. Okay, gotcha. So we had
and that's I don't think that's a lot.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
I mean, Derek was my main guy for most, like, my where I was competitive in my career was with him.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember, and it might have been a couple years when you won, before you won Bay Hill, and I remember pulling up your player profile and looking at results, and maybe you can help me out. But you had one year that you were sick as fuck, right? You didn't miss very many cuts. You were
like 13 and 14.
Might have been 13.
Right?
Yeah.
13 and 14. You don't know what's really weird about those years too, and it's just like, it's such a mind fuck out here. Like, the day in, day out, this shit that comes your way and into your brain. Those years, I was doing everything by myself. I had no coach. I was wearing a band around my knees when I hit balls, just for stability and to, like, activate my lower body a little bit. And then I would wear this brace on my right arm, and I would just wear out those 2 drills. And it'd just be Derek. It would be Derek and I. And, like, if I struggled in a certain area, you know what I'd do? I'd get on YouTube and just, like, look at a fucking putting clip or something and be like, all right, I'm gonna run with this week. And then it was just so, like, it was just easy. I was, like, dominating what I was doing. Like, was doing the same things every day, was consistent. I believed in my own craft. Like, just things were, my mind was in a great spot. And then, it's hard not to get sucked into numbers and teaching and advice and change and just, I mean, and I feel like I'm probably one of the best at not getting sucked into that. As far as like clubs, like, I hate changing clubs. Like, if something works, why am I gonna, if I know it works, why am I changing?
Yeah.
You know what you just said that's interesting to me, that the first time I ever heard it, that I was surprised, I was shocked. But you said you'd pull up YouTube videos and just kind of look at somebody's putting and you'd roll with it that week. I have heard that from you guys. Matt, you guys are the best players in the world, and you're like the 4th best player in the world that has said that said when things get off for a week or two, these guys have said, they thought, I just went onto YouTube and I watched this so-and-so talk about this and I just rolled with it and I played good that week. And I just thought that was so interesting that you guys are so human.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, well, I mean, yes.
You're so human.
Yeah, for sure. But sometimes it's just the littlest things. Like, it's hard to get your body to feel the same every day. So sometimes a different feel can just activate something that you've been missing on for a little bit. Like, there was one clip I would always go back to. I remember it was this really old guy, and I don't remember his name, but he had this drill or this exercise where he would have you death grip the putter, like death grip it, right? And you would, like, white knuckle it, 10 quick curls, okay? And then you'd white knuckle it here and, like, 10 like this, like real whippy, okay? Just squeezing the shit out of your forearm. And then when you're done, your forearm's just dead, right? So it's completely relaxed. And then I would put it on the putter and I would have Derek just, like, put the stick right in my sternum here and I would just like not try and move it and let that right arm just release, and because there was no tension in it, and it worked. Like it just worked so good. I don't know why I stopped doing it. At some point,
You're about to go back to that.
At some point it stopped working.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you on the putting green tomorrow morning,
right?
And remind you of that. Hey, I want to ask you. So you and Derek were obviously super close and that kind of stuff, and you had to fire him a couple times, at least once or whatever.
Well,
tell us about Well, I mean, okay,
we had an interesting thing
dynamic. Okay, but you fired caddies before. You've had to fire caddies before, and you've had to fire caddies before that were probably good caddies that you liked too. And do you guys struggle with that decisions? Do you like go home at night for a couple nights?
It's hit or miss. I mean, sometimes they fire themselves. But yes, dude. I mean, I have a heart. Like it's like breaking up with a girlfriend, dude.
I should tell everybody. Yes, you have a huge heart. Huge heart.
It sucks. It sucks doing it sometimes. But the longer I've done this, and the more not the more I fire guys, because I don't really play that much. So I don't have like a steady guy working for me. But the later I went in my career, the more I've realized it's just better to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Like it's like it's literally nothing personal. Like nobody out here has the same guy his whole career. It's just not the way it is. And like who wants to be like it's silly to me to get butthurt over it. I mean, it sucks, but if a guy left me for another guy, like I would be okay with it.
I was gonna ask you that. Anybody ever leave you before where you're like, yeah, fuck him?
No,
you know what I mean? Where you were bent about it?
Or if it did, like if I don't really think so. And if it did, it didn't bother me at all.
It didn't bother you. Hey, Matt Cook, here's something interesting. As we all know, my son Daniel caddies, and Daniel caddied for Matt. Man, he worked some events for you, probably at least double digits, right?
Yeah, I forgot about Daniel. That's 6, and I actually forgot about one other, so that's 7. So I would say 7.
Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah. Real story.
Daniel's first ever event on tour was
the Players Championship
with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
What pressure?
That's not an easy task.
No, what pressure?
No, I mean, not really. Like,
well, not for you, for him. For him.
For him, sure. But like, I feel like I'm pretty easy to work for.
Well, of course you are for sure. But I remember when that went down, when we were talking and that kind of stuff, and I'm like, hey man, I got this crazy idea, but Daniel's done some good on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's getting some experience. Maybe you just need a fresh face, and you're more into your shots or whatever I was saying. Like you said, I could to drop the pants off of whoever with my salesmanship, but you bought it you bought a hook, line, and sinker.
You got me.
Yeah, I got you. And you actually, after the Players, you made him some money, right? You played good. You played pretty good for a while there.
Yeah,
you had a chance. You had a chance at Memphis.
We did. He was super young, and I was struggling, and it was actually probably a good matchup. I think I taught him a lot, and
you did. He says it all the time.
And I also was probably a good person as far as his career. I was probably a good person for him to have, because I think if he had anybody else, they would have fired him like a week after. But I knew what I was getting, and
right.
No, I mean, just like I love it. Like, I mean,
don't try and cover up.
Daniel is a sweetheart. Are you kidding?
He is.
I mean, he's the nicest kid ever.
Yeah.
But he's kind of, he's Cali soft. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Second week he works for me, Bob. Second week he works for me. You show up at the backdrop at Colonial, and he tells me he doesn't feel good. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't give a shit if you feel good. I mean, when have I ever asked any of my caddies, like, hey, how do you feel today? I mean,
oh fuck, he's gonna listen to this now.
No, he knows. He knows.
Yeah, no, he knows. Hey, he just got a player.
I know he's got that Preston Cutie.
Yeah, or Pearson.
Yeah, whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I told him he's the Steven Yeager of the fucking Korn Ferry Tour caddies. It's about his.
Oh God, dude.
I don't know if that was a good thing to say or not, but you did teach him a lot. He's trying to learn how to have. Yeah,
he's
everybody.
such a sweet kid.
There's not one person that has, other than the Cali soft comment. There's not one person that doesn't love that doesn't. Well,
I mean, hey,
yeah,
Bob, you know that's a real thing. You know that's a real thing.
And I preached that to him because I'm like, this job, man.
I'm not just saying with him. I'm saying Cali soft in general.
Oh, 100.
Soft.
Matt, you are spot on. I'm a New Yorker,
Slow the fuck down.
There
Everybody
is such
slow
thing
down.
as Cali soft.
Bob,
100%.
it's okay to be.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
I'm not Cali soft.
Yeah, but you
Am I
got such a
Cali
Cali vibe to you, though.
I'm not Cali soft at all. I can take shit on the golf course with the best of them. I mean, fucking with the best of them.
I mean, you had to deal with the Korean posse. So
fuck yes, I did. You Sheba bag caddy, why no pin high? You win, never could win. This last week, I tell Dad, Dad's so mad. Dad's
you
so
never
mad.
Like driver.
Yeah.
You never like driver.
Yeah. See, we don't really need to hit driver here. I players champ, bro. I driver everywhere. I players champ, bro. You know, watch TV.
Dude,
I players champ.
By far, my favorite player on tour.
You got a man crush. You got a little man crush on Siwoo.
You know, speaking of that, you're talking about what the fuck were we even talking about?
We were talking about Daniel. We were talking.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cali soft.
About hiring and firing caddies.
Yeah.
Firing caddies sucks, dude. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Hiring them, that initial part's fun, but it's kind of like, you know, it's.
You had to fire Dan. You had to fire Daniel because I remember your agent, or my buddy Kevin Canning, called me and he's like, "Hey, Daniel and Matt, I don't know, you know, Kevin a little, I don't know, and that kind of stuff." And I remember saying to I remember saying, Kevin, I go, "Oh, you don't have to worry about Daniel. He's totally loyal. He's not like me." And he goes, "It ain't fucking Daniel." It ain't Daniel that wants to make the move. It's Matt wants to make a move. I wanted to give you the heads up first, and it was all just to get Daniel some experience and give you a little breath of fresh air, and you set him off on his, and you're a key component to setting him off on his journey. I feel like he's getting a little bit some more leather skin, so to speak, and you know, maybe, that
being said, I would have Daniel caddy for me in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
like he's great.
Yeah.
He was a kid then.
He was young, right?
Yeah. Fuck, he was probably 20, 21 or something.
He was dealing with like Snapchat drama and stuff like that. And
that girlfriend. Oh, that little bitch of his. Which one?
Yeah.
Don't even which one? That son of mine and his chicks, man. I just don't get it. He's well, Matt, how about this famous quote, Matt Every? "She's the one, Dad." How many times? She's the one. Yeah. She's the one, Dad. She's the one. I love her. I'm like, I think she's got I think she's different. I remember telling him, I go, "Dan, let me tell you two things. She's ugly. What, three things? She's ugly. I'm pretty sure she's fucking somebody else, and she's got a coke problem. She not the one, dog." Turned out Bobby hit the trifecta.
Oh my God.
I was right on all three of them. Daniel, Daniel, I love you. You're my pride and joy, and I'm so proud of who you are, but I'm just gonna call a spade a spade.
I bet this gets edited out.
What's that?
No. I'll be honest with you. Since I've had Mikey Perez no longer part of the show, 100% I don't have to edit as much.
All right,
but needless to say, I want to get back to so all of a sudden you're on tour, you're playing well, you're heading into the 13-14 season, you've got your putting drilled. That sounds fantastic. I'm going to give it a shot tomorrow. I'm sure a bunch of people that are listening to this tomorrow will actually go out there and stick a stick to their chest and start doing all these forearm exercises. But with that said, you end up winning Bay Hill in the 2013-14 season, and then you head into the following season, and you're getting to Bay Hill. Your game wasn't necessarily in form, but you get there. Was it just like this comfortableness that came across you? Was there a confidence there heading into it? Because, I mean, for somebody who, you won for the first time at Bay Hill on the PGA Tour. Then all of a sudden you're coming in the following year. Was there confidence behind that? Like, kind of walk us through that mindset as you headed into that, really, that run. I mean, not repeat year, right? I don't know what happened.
I remember, when I won in 14, I didn't have a coach, so it was just Derek and I when we won, and that was like super cool. And then I started struggling maybe a month or two after. I started hitting it really bad, and Todd Anderson was in Jacksonville. He just moved there, and my buddy Billy was working with him. So it's like, oh, I'll go see TA for a little. And I did. And I went from like a fader to a draw. I was kind of pulling it when I was working with him. I couldn't do what we were working on. And so then Sean and Tiger split. And Sean and I were buddies, like off the course.
Sure.
Like we'd hang out a little bit. And he was also good friends with my caddy, Derek. And when Tiger and him split, you know, my career was kind of doing this, and I was like, Sean, can you look at me? So we worked together, and I changed a ton of things with him, and it took a while for it to click. But my range stuff with him at the start was really good. Like, I remember it being really good, and I'd go on the course, and I just had the hardest time, like, bringing it out there. I would have these great warm-ups, and I was always usually the other way. Like in college and early in pro, like my warm-ups would be kind of scrappy, and then I get on the course and just flush it. And as my career went, it just gradually shifted the other way. It turned into like flush on the range and then just scrappy on the course. And I'm like, how did this happen? I mean, I'd take a shit, like my swing on video looks better than it ever has in my life right now. And every year it's gotten better, but my results have not been better. So there's something to be learned there. And
did you find yourself at all stuck in
anyways, so
versus?
Well, yeah, getting back to going into that second Bay Hill. So my stuff was really good, and then I was in Tampa, and I had the week before, and it was really good on the range. I was working on my eye line, so I was changing my eye line from going like this, like kind of like Spieth how he putts, to more like this, like straight on. And it was tough to like trust it on the course because you're changing a window, like everything is different when your whole life your head's been here and then you go to here.
Yep.
You understand? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I would get it on the range, and then it's tough. And then Saturday I stayed I missed the cut Friday afternoon, and I stayed and hit balls. And I remember my buddy Spencer Levine came out, and he was watching me hit balls, and he told me something. He gave me a little tip. I forget what it was. But then the next week at Bay Hill, it was like just being comfortable there. I think I was like ready to burst. Like everything, just like a little bit of anxiety on a tee shot, a little bit of doubt can create so much just tension. And then it changes everything. Like if you're tense, you're not going to turn. You're not going to max out your turn. And you know, hitting enough foul balls, it's almost impossible to not be tense over a tee shot. That matters. So like on the range, pure, I'm in a rhythm, pure. Get on the course, and man, I remember last time I played this hole, I had a foul ball here, or I hate this wind direction. I hate this wind direction. It's off the left and it's elevated, and then you're over the ball and you just seize up just a little, and then everything kind of goes like that, and the next thing you know, it just turns into all arms. It's behind you, and then it's luck at the bottom. So I think being comfortable there, and my swing was coming into good form, and I just needed to see, like, I remember I didn't make anything that week, and I won the second time. The last day I finally made some putts, but like I shot like 3 or 4 under the third round and made nothing. And I remember being pissed off, walking off and being like, are you kidding me? Like I left like a 61 out there today and I just made nothing. But it's a weird game, man. Shit just lines up sometimes. And when you're in it and it does line up for someone like me, I got to get it. And, you know, it's just kind of the way it's been.
Well, you closed it out. You went back to back.
Yeah, that's impressive. And honestly, that's like one of the hardest tournaments to win. Both matches.
It's a tough course. Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's like right up there on the players. It's a fucking big boy tournament. Yeah, big boy tournament. One of the toughest to win by for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm super proud of it. Like,
yeah. You said
like
something.
Career.
I picked your brain after you won the first one when I was working for you. I go, why do you think you play so good there? You remember what you told me? You go, that fucking course forces my hands. I didn't really understand. I didn't understand at the time what that meant. Like it forces your hand.
Like off the tee, it forces my hand. There's certain holes where like I don't have to make a decision on them because it makes it for me. So do you know what I mean by that? Like
I do now.
Like,
I do now.
Doesn't work here. You have to get iron off the tee.
Yeah.
And
I do.
I think when I'm playing well, if there's a strength in my game, it's my irons for sure.
For sure.
And
man, I always thought you were a great putter too.
That place gives me plenty of opportunity. It's a second shot golf course. I mean, the fairways are big.
Yep.
I know there's these big water hazards and stuff, but the fairways are big there. So it's a second shot course, and it just gives me a lot of looks. And if I'm putting decent or
yeah. I always thought you were a great putter. I don't think you ever thought that when I was working for you, but I always thought your stroke was pure as shit, man. That's just me talking.
That's because you caddied for Dustin for so long.
Well, I mean, stop. He's above average. He's above average. If he was a great putter,
I'm taking the piss out of you.
Well, he would have won 40 times if he was a great. Oh, you stop. I always thought.
I am the biggest Dustin fan here.
Well, that's your second biggest man crushes. Well, DJ's first. Siwoo just got bumped to second, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm awesome 2-time winner at Bay Hill and that kind of stuff. Hey, I don't want to change the subject or anything like that, but let's roll right into why do I keep finding myself because I'm anti-LIV Golf. Matt Cook, you want to get into this right now? I don't know where our time is. Matt,
let's get into it.
I am anti-LIV Golf, and there's been a lot of names been dropped the last 72 hours. And for some reason, I'm Cali soft right now, boys, because I find myself in a bad mood the last couple of days thinking about all these names and all these guys that are projected to go. Obviously, our British Open champion, there's been a bunch of stuff written about him possibly thinking about going. Mr. Japan himself, Hideki, a Masters champion, they're talking about him going, which I was kind of shocked me to hear that because well, no, really, because being with the Koreans and everything like that, and I know that Asian culture, I just don't know how that would go over with his elders in Japan, but maybe that's just a really good gummy that I ate, that overthinking that or something. But I'm in a bad mood thinking about this, Matt Every. What do you got to say about it, man? Where are you at with this whole LIV Golf thing?
I think it sucks, man. The whole situation sucks. I'm not in a.
You don't have to say what you don't want to say.
Some of these guys are my friends, and
Well, you did that. Steer away from it if you want to.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, this choice that they make is not going to affect my friendship with them. Like,
right?
They're still going to be my friends.
Right.
However, I really hope they I know it's easy to. I don't know. I will never know what it feels like to be offered $100 million to go for someone to basically own me for 4 years or whatever.
Right.
And I'll never know what that decision is like. But I know outside looking in, I do know like there's another side to this. I mean, you're diluting the game of golf. I mean, it's just making it not as this doesn't grow the game, and this isn't competition either. This is like a hostile takeover. I mean,
hostile.
It is. Hostile. It's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight.
And it's moving fast. It's moving fast.
I know. And I hate it. I'm not judging the guys that took the money. Because I can't say for sure if I don't think anybody could. But there are certain guys who have this whole thing in the palm. There's a guy right now that has this whole deal in the palm of his hand, and it's Cam Smith.
Right.
I mean, if that guy makes a move,
wow.
That's a heavy move.
Can I say something? Isn't he on the march? Him and Xander, isn't he potentially on the march to being the best player in the world? To
Cam
hitting
Smith's two in the world.
I know, that's my whole point. I mean,
Cam Smith lives in the PGA Tour's backyard.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he
Smith
does.
is loved in Jacksonville.
Oh man, this thing is just out of control.
It's going to put a lot of guys in that are going to have a lot of tough choices. Let me tell you one other thing that I don't think anyone's talking about this LIV thing. But the reason this LIV thing has got legs, and it's going to, obviously other than the money, that's got legs. These agents are behind it.
My God!
They don't have to wear the scarlet letter. They get to collect the money, and they're never going to see. They're never going to see money like this in any other deals that they do.
It's
so they don't have to wear the shame or the like. Some of these guys look like they sold their soul. I mean, Phil looks rough. It just doesn't.
Yeah. True.
He does.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
Can I ask? Here's a great question. Here's a great question.
I'm just saying, these agents, they don't have to wear the shame,
the scarlet.
And they are just collecting money, and they're going to push this because they ain't getting these kind of deals from the tour.
Matt, are these guys? And one of our best friends that we talked about his company is big on this. Half their players have gone. And you think these agents are getting the 15 or the 20% off these fucking 100, 200 million, 20, $40 million deals? Do you think they're staggered, their percentage? What do you think?
100% they're getting it.
They're getting full boat.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they're heading into Scott Boras territory. 100%. With some of these deals.
Bob, 100%. And let me tell you something. If I was a world-class player and my guy went and said, hey, I got these guys to give you $110 million, I would be like, God damn it, I love you. Here's your 20%. No questions asked. I mean, that's a lot of money, bro. I mean,
fuck. I know. I know. I was so anti.
And I'm not saying that's the right. I'm not, and I'm anti it too. I am. I don't like it. There's nothing genuine about it to me. This doesn't feel like. This feels like Greg Norman's got a hard on for the PGA Tour, and the Saudis got a hard on for Jay Monahan for not at least having a meeting with them, and they're just out to ruin the tour is what it feels like. It doesn't feel. I don't know what their end game is.
Matt, is there a chance in some years down the road that these two tours are going to get combined? Could somehow be combined?
Yeah,
I'm reading about that kind of stuff.
I think that could happen.
You do.
That is.
Honestly,
I mean, that's where they wanted it to begin with in the first place, and I think you're spot on that with Jay and kind of that issue with the Saudis and so forth, that he wouldn't even take a meeting to begin with, and that's where I think a lot of the kind of so the Greg Norman hard-on that you talked about, yeah, I mean, spot on. I think that's where this disconnect.
I bet you Greg Norman's out of there soon.
You think so?
You think so?
Yeah.
Really? Well, elaborate. Fuck, don't leave us like that. Fucking hey.
I just don't know if he's gonna be like the CEO there. Like, I feel like that if they really want that thing to work, they might want to bring in a pro that's done something like this before.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing stuff like that too. So
yeah, I've been hearing shit. I can't drop a name, but I've been hearing some shit. Like that, but I can't really say.
I have to. I can't say it.
I know. Are you thinking who I'm thinking?
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Is it somebody that's maybe working for another big organization in the golf right now, or are we not even on the same page? We're not on the same page.
This guy has 4 letters in his first and last name.
Oh, okay. My guy's got 4 letters in his last name, not his first.
Well, no.
We'll talk afterwards.
All right.
We'll talk afterwards. Hey, David Faraday going, huh? What are they?
Yeah, how about that?
Fucking A.
Well, they need help on that broadcast team.
Well, Jesus, that's an understatement.
That's why I'm curious to see you have this opinion, Matt, because I feel like you've always towed the line when it comes to the things you can say.
I see this merging.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I do.
I think you're spot on, but I think if you were offered a contract, you would be the perfect personality for LIV Golf. I'm
For
not even
LIV.
kidding. For
Well,
LIV,
no
I mean,
doubt.
I'm like, I know you're
I
employed
would
right
be.
now with PGA Live and everything, and
I'm not though. They don't
okay,
employ me.
there
No,
you
I don't
go.
do shit for them.
Well,
They employ anyone that wants to work. I know that my stuff works.
Yeah, it really does.
So we'll see.
because you're on it,
But
and
it's just interesting how this is gonna play out. Like, did you see what Trump said
Yeah,
today?
Wow.
Like,
crazy.
Wow. You
I
guys would be
know, and
foolish not
there's
to take
another
the money.
guy that's like, here's the thing: you got Norman with a hard on, you got the Saudis with a hard on, and you think Donald Trump doesn't have a hard on for the tour?
Especially
yeah,
after they
absolutely.
moved his
So that's what I'm
events off of
saying.
his
Like,
course.
those guys. It's like, I mean, Trump and Greg Norman probably have two of the biggest egos in the world. I mean,
Yeah. Scary.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Wow.
Hang on a second. I want to get back to the media career for Matt. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
because you're a natural for media. It's been clear. I mean, Bobby and I have talked about this off air, to where we really.
yeah,
feel
but
like,
I don't get like I'm glad you guys feel that way, but I don't feel like I don't know. The golf media to me is pretty safe with who they take.
Well, of course, but that's a PGA Tour, right? I think.
But I also think that's a strength that I have is like I know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
I know like what I can and can't say. I just think someone needs to take a chance.
Hey, you were the best. You were the best announcer at the KH Lee Invitational here recently in Dallas. By the way,
how
so
good KH Lee?
I mean, I know you got dealt with your third man crush. I think
That's
you texted
my
me
man
that.
crush. Yes. God, what a sweetheart, man. Just want to give him a big kiss.
The cool. I've nicknamed him the cool Korean, right? Because he really is the cool Korean of all the other Koreans. I mean, Siwoo's cool in a different way, but you know what I mean as far as on the golf course.
When KH told me that when I found out that he wants to be the number one sexiest golfer in the world, I knew right away. Yeah. So KH and I got like randomly paired together in New Orleans one year. Like my partner got hurt late and had to bail like a couple weeks early.
You guys played great that week too, didn't you?
We finished tied for third. It was like, honestly, it was one of the best weeks of my life, like golf wise. Yeah,
really?
I like not how I played, but like I just enjoyed the week so much with him. We didn't even know each other, and like I fell in love with him, dude. He's such a sweetheart. And his wife, Julie, was like making us sandwiches and shit at the turn. She was so nice. And then like it was like 100 degrees, and like I'm rolling out of there the second we're done, you know. And Cage is going straight to the range, like 5 buckets of balls, and it's like I'm like dripping sweat. And I would look at Julie and I'd be like, Julie, no sexy time for Cage tonight. He needs his legs tomorrow. And she'd be like, oh, no. You know, it's fucking great.
No, you gotta say no boom boom.
No boom boom. You gotta say no sexy boom. Time.
Hey, how good of a player is he? You know players. You're a straight shooter. How good is he?
What a machine. So I remember really struggling with my chipping at this time. And that place, like if you struggle with chipping, you're going to get exposed. Like, because it's nasty Bermuda. It's like real grainy. It's gross. And in some of the alternate shot situations, or even in the best ball stuff, he would be in places where if I had the chip, I would want no part of it. Like just full heebie-jeebies, like my forearms, just like, you know? And he would hit it up to this every time. I mean, it was just he's so sick. He's so sick. Honestly, I don't know why he hadn't won more. I mean, he's so good.
I was going to ask you that. Is he somewhere between? I'm going to use this as a bar, and it's a compliment to both of them. Is he somewhere in between? Sung Jae obviously is probably the best Korean. I mean, I know the young guy, the new Young Kim, has been playing good, the 21-year-old, but we haven't seen much of him over here. Is he somewhere in between Sung Jae and Siwoo? Could he be as good as Sung Jae? Are you surprised Sung Jae hasn't won as much as he's won?
What's Sung Jae won on the tour?
Well, so he won Vegas. He's won Vegas, and what was his?
I feel like he's tapered off a little bit. He was hot. There was a while there where he was every.
Yeah,
he
he made the cut by a shot last week, and he had 2 previous missed cuts before that. Poor Billy Spencer. All hell's probably breaking loose with him. His caddy right now.
Sung Jae is a machine. Like, there's no getting around it. And he definitely hits the back of the ball harder than like a KH. But KH is so. All those guys are so. Maybe not Siwoo. Siwoo's got a little bit more rawness to him than the other guys. To me, like I see.
Yeah, he hits shots.
KH to me screams this guy was taught with a TrackMan. I mean, he just screams it. You can he's a robot, dude. He's a machine.
Right.
Sung Jae, kind of the same thing. There's a little bit of rawness in there, but like Siwoo, like
he hits shots. He hits shots.
Like, you know what Siwoo has that those guys don't have? Recklessness.
Like, tell me about it.
But it also it benefits him. I mean, I guarantee you it does over time.
Well, for sure. Well, it does. It benefits him 3 to 4 weeks
teach it.
out of
you
the year.
cannot teach guys to just have a set. And some of the guys that hit the straightest I've ever seen are like the straightest hitters. They aim away from stuff. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, like, I don't say my irons are pretty good, but like if I'm dialed with my irons, I'm not aiming away from shit.
I mean, no.
I unless it's like, you know, the end of the world, but like I'm not doing it. But some of the straightest guys in those robots, I think they're a little too conservative sometimes.
Sammy safety all the time. 15, 25 feet, 10 and 2.
Knuckler.
Yeah, 10 and 2. Awesome. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
The child support stroke.
Never heard that before.
Spencer. What? But that's a Spencer story.
Yeah, Spencer Levine, the legend.
Dude, Spencer Levine. I once played on a Monday qualifier with him for the BC Open. I've never seen somebody smoke so many cigarettes in my life.
You know, he stopped
a long time ago. Yeah, he stopped.
Yeah,
well,
it's been
BC Open hasn't been around for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do. I do. You know, I still can't. When he does his second stages, I do his second stages for him there in Brooksville, Florida. A few years ago, before the COVID, he played great. He got through.
What a great dude, too. He really is.
Oh my God,
he's just awesome guy.
He's like Matt, right? He's fucking real.
He's
just real.
He's an absolute psycho on the golf course, but he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
What did he do? The child support thing was so good. We were. Do we have time to tell us?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course we do.
So we were in Hartford, and like a lot of guys stay at the Marriott downtown. So at night, Friday night, Spencer 3-putts the last, misses a cut. He'd been drinking in the bar, I think, for a little bit. And downstairs, they're showing the College World Series on one TV. And on the other TV, they're showing. My phone has 10% battery, by the way, so we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
On the other TV, they're showing they're rerunning the golf from the day. So it's myself, Spencer, Will McKenzie, Willie Mack, the original Willie Mack, and then Steve Marino. Okay, and we're sitting there, and we're all watching the College World Series because the Gators are playing in it, and they're playing LSU, right? And Spence is like watching the golf like this, and Patrick Reed's got like a 15-footer for birdie on 18, and he just buries it. And he's like looking at us. He's like, I think he's thinking about 3-putting that, and we're like, probably not, whatever. And he like gets up out of his stool and he stands up. He's like, I'm over it, like, you gotta pay child support. It's so fucking good.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all you need to know about our hero, Spencer Levine. Hey, now you got 8% battery. Tell us about LFG.
No, we're good.
Tell us about LFG. Tell us about the clothing line.
Live forever golf, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, your logo is just blowing up with that Trinity Forest maneuver.
Yeah,
15th hole, baby.
15. Was it 15?
I
think it was on the whatever par 5.
Oh no, 14th. I'm sorry, the par 5 14th. I was completely wrong.
14?
Yeah, it's 14.
I don't know. I just got mad.
Hell of a move, by the way.
Thank you. The clothing line, it kind of started as a joke, but it's full on now. I have two of my best friends from home. They both great dudes, and they're in a great spot in life where they can focus on this full time. And they've been the real, like we hired a designer. We've got, it's a full on machine right now. And it's growing a ton. We're heading into we've already done 2 years. This is going into our third year. And it's picking up steam. We've got a ton of accounts. It's good. And the stuff's getting better and better. I'm way more involved in it now than I've been in, like kind of the start of it. Because I have more time mainly. But I'm super pumped with where it's going. It's got a great vibe. It's not, it's not just like me throwing a club. Like, we're actually trying to go away from that a little bit. And it's a clothing line. We make everything we have: shorts, pants, shirts, hoodies, visors, hats. Like, we're making it. We're not going to like some polo company and be like, can we buy this many shirts and slap our shit on there? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
We're sourcing shit from Peru and taking trips down there. And it's been a lot of fun, man. It's brought me and two of my best friends closer together, and it's been a blast, and it's got legs for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, it really does. If anybody wants to learn more about it, by the way, is it liveforevergolf.com?
liveforevergolf.com. Yep.
Perfect.
liveforevergolf.com.
We'll also add that in the show notes too, so that everybody can go there.
Yeah.
What else you got, Matt Every? Anything else? Oh, well, you got 6% battery. We're speaking about hiring. We were speaking about hiring and firing caddies. You just pulled a little Peyton Manning in the last 24, 48 hours, didn't you? A little bit, Peyton Manning. Can we go there?
Yeah,
nah, you don't want to.
Sure, yeah, we can. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm clueless.
I told the guy. I told him, no, I didn't think I was. Told a guy he could work for me this week. We worked together last week. Great guy. I just doesn't like. I needed a different face to look at this week, and so I told him I'd take care of him this week because I told him he could pay for me, and then
what a guy you are.
Then I'll just take care of the guy I got, like, because I know how I am, and if I would have kept him around and missed the cut, I'd been mad at myself. Like, I'd rather just.
I gotcha.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah,
that's how quick. That's how quick everything moves around here, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, guys are in different positions too, though. Like, I'm not like, I don't have a regular schedule out here right now. So,
will you get in next week? Any chance you get in next week in Detroit? Do you think?
I fucking hope not, dude. I need a week off. It's been 4 in a row. If I get in, I gotta play, bro.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I need a week off.
What about Wyndham? Any chance for Wyndham?
I really doubt it. You know what? I'm either going to miss the cut or win this week. So
there we go. I love to hear that.
I think I found something in my right shoulder. I think I found something. We'll see. I found it. I'm back.
I love it.
Matt Cook, what else you got?
Listen, we covered the gamut. I mean, Matt Every. I don't know how you aren't just in a booth right now, just spitting the game. I mean, come on. I mean, for real. Like, you come on here and just absolutely kill this episode, absolutely crush it. I mean, you got Bobby to not talk that much this week, which is incredible in and of its own right. Yeah, I mean, Bobby had to have his iPad die.
That's Bob about the first time he tried Adderall.
You got enough battery for that? Okay. All right. God damn it. There goes my squeaky clean reputation out here.
Yeah, okay. Hey, can you imagine Bob on Adderall, by the way?
Oh my God.
All right, let's go. I'll tell the story. I'll tell the story real quick. So we were, obviously I was working for Matt, and a couple weeks he's like, I'm like, man, what's the deal with this Adderall?
I just started taking Adderall in like 2014.
For focus purposes, right? For focus purposes.
Yeah, not to party. Like, I took it, like, I had to go through hoops to get this thing approved through the tours. Right. It took like 2 years to get approved.
Right.
So I finally get it. So I'm telling Bob about it. Like, what's it make you feel like? I'm like, you've never taken it before? And I'm like, here, it's try one. It's private.
No, let me pick it up. Let me pick it up from here. Let me pick it up from here. So we do a couple
tournaments.
Well, I'm getting to that, but we do a couple tournaments. He's like, hey man, and I'm like, what's the deal with this Adderall? He goes, man, I want you to try it. I want you to feel what I feel out there in the zone that I go in with this Adderall. I go, I don't need any uppers, bro. I need downers to caddy for my job. And so this went for like 2 weeks, and I kept kiboshing him. And then we got to Glen Abbey, and we were teeing off on number 10, and we were hitting putts. He was hitting putts before we warmed up. And I go, you know what? Fuck it. Give me a little piece of that Adderall. I'm going to try it. He goes, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. So I take a half a thing of Adderall, right? And he comes over after we putt.
Good.
Yeah. He comes over after
you feel it yet? He's like,
yeah.
no.
I go, no, I don't feel a fucking thing. I think I got a dud.
Let
right?
me take
so
it. Let me take it. So then we hit
but
it.
I get to take number 10. I get to pick it up when we get to 10.
So I get on the tee and I hit it. I'm like, you feel it yet? And we get in I like have like 140 into 10. It's a weird number. I gotta like chip something, and whatever we do, I hit this shot and it's all over it, and it fucking goes in. All right. And I look over to Bob, and he's going like this, like he's a horse, and he's like ramming his leg like this. He's like, I feel it now. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. Well, I feel it now.
But Matt Cook, he was every 10 minutes on the range. He's like, you feel it? You feel it? I go, I don't feel shit, man. I don't feel shit. He hits his tee shot. We walk up the tee. He goes, you feel it? I go, I don't feel fucking shit. He hoops this thing, and just what he said, I go, I fucking feel it now, motherfucker.
He's like, like he's a horse coming out of the gate. It was the best ever.
I think that's I think that's the only time I've done Adderall. I will say this: I have done when we went through that COVID year. Now everybody was afraid to fly everywhere, right? So we're all driving around the country 8 or 10 hours, and I'd be lying if I didn't think to you some of those times where I was driving 8 hours straight going to the next tournament. And I'm like, God, I could use fucking Matt Every right now. I'd kill this drive and fucking 0 flat instead of fucking 65 in the slow.
I stopped taking it a long time.
Oh, that was years ago. That was a few years. That was a few years ago during COVID, but
not a long time ago. It's not good.
I don't know. I almost felt like it would calm Bobby down.
It might
lock him in.
I've gotten pretty calm on the golf course in my old age. I think that has to do with taking shit from the Koreans and everything like that, you know. And now I'm working for Troy Merritt, which is like the coolest guy on the planet to work for.
Oh, isn't he the best?
Oh man, it's just so I just look forward to going to work every single morning. He doesn't say 2 shits about anything. He just does his own thing. He practices 25-30 minutes. He goes out and plays, and he's fucking good, right? He's 64, 65 on the FedEx Cup.
We're about the same age.
About the same age, few legitimate chances to win this year, and it's nice to work for somebody that is so realistic about goals and that kind of stuff. Where I am who I am. I'm not going to go to the gym for 2 hours a day. I'm not going to beat balls for 5 hours a day because I know that I'm a good golfer and I'm going to have my chances, and I'm just going to roll with it when it's my time. So, anyways,
Matt, and Troy's got that rawness in his game a little bit.
Yeah, for sure he does. Yeah.
I mean, he's got some homemade stuff in there.
Oh, there's some homemade stuff in there for sure. But when he gets going, he's no scaredy cat. You know,
he's got. That's what I'm saying. He's got like that dog in him when he's going.
He gets after it. He's with the trend. He's with the trend of 2022. See stick, hit stick, right? Fuck, you got to almost these days out here, don't you? You can't really safety it around here anymore. And when nobody gives a fuck who you are, if you do
safety,
you could used to.
You used to. People
but
used to.
But it's just so deep out here now. It's so deep.
Fucking. And there's more coming every year, right? Hopefully they're coming to this tour and not going to the.
Well, hey, they're gonna. The other one's gonna have to expand if they want any more. I mean,
I saw the field
too. Well, they're going to expand next year, is what they're saying. They
released the field already for Bedminster. The same way. Did you guys see that? Yeah, no. And I don't think there's 50. I counted it. I counted only 45 guys that they've announced, and then they left the 3 open spots. So I guess we're going to find out here in the next couple of days who those 3 open spots are. I guess
we already know they are.
Yeah. What about? Wow, that's a fucking curveball. Well, let me ask you.
Apparently, Bobby didn't see that one coming.
Well, no, I did. I mean, he fits my demographic for that tour, 40 something, not really mixing it up out here anymore. Yeah. But I just felt like some of those guys were more. Yeah, he fits the bill. I just figure when you're named Ryder Cup captain or something like that, you just can't wait till after the Ryder Cup and then make your move then or whatever. That's kind of a big deal. Hey, Matt, what about Kokrak? You think Kokrak goes or no? I mean, he's been names are coming up forever. What do you think the deal is there? You think that he didn't have the right number, or he was just waiting on time, or what do you think? You think he goes? Are you allowed to say?
That's my agent's guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing that for a while. I hope he does.
Me too.
You know, I wouldn't mind like Kevin and that whole agency is like the only guy that doesn't have one of his guys getting that live money. So I kind of want Kevin to get some money.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and sign Kokrak and Kevin, you get your money too.
I was surprised after Kokrak did that on 18 and walked off. And if you guys see the shot tracker, it just goes off into yonder. Like that would have been the greatest PGA Tour walk-off ever.
But you know that that's the media. He didn't walk off. You know, he actually stayed and tended the flag and waited for his.
Oh, you got to be.
Yeah, that was.
That's the media bullshit, right? He actually is like, hey, I'm not going to make this cut, and he did. It's not like he stormed right into the fucking lock.
He would have had to have gone back and dropped in the bunker. The group behind him was already in the fairway. It was just pointless. And I've been there. I've done shit like that too so many times where it's been like, no, you make it sound like I stormed off in a fit of rage. like. This is what happened, and it's like it's just like trying to beat out a fucking ground ball in the big leagues. Like it's just sometimes it's pointless.
Yeah, see, this is why we need Matt Every in a booth talking to us every single week.
It's like being down 40-love
against Djokovic.
And he can relate multi-sport. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's like I already know how to lose this point. Go ahead and ace it. So I can get out of here.
Gotcha. All right, man.
Last question. Very last question, and this will be short. What was the sport that you chose golf over?
Basketball. I know this answer. Yeah, for sure.
I love basketball.
For sure.
Yeah. I was so sick.
Shooting guard?
Shooting guard. I just ran screens on the baseline and just knocked those down. But stopped growing.
Yeah, nice. So did you have that breaking point to where you're like, well, I'm white, I'm 5'11", and my chances of playing professional basketball are slim?
I'm 6 foot.
Oh, see, the media got you wrong there too. How about that?
Yeah, they got my weight wrong too. I'm not that heavy. I went the opposite way.
I think that wraps it up.
Basketball, they changed golf season in high school from like my junior year, from whenever it was, fall to spring, and it overlapped with basketball, so I had to pick one. And it was, I was on the team easily, but I wasn't going to get any college offers, and I was the only white dude on the team. But that was like my first love. I loved traveling with those guys. We were like, I grew up with those, playing sports with all my buddies, and I got to go to high school and play sports with them too. And it was a fucking blast.
Any AAU basketball going on there?
No, it was kind of almost before that got popular. But and then you go to golf, and I'm like traveling with my mom. And it's like,
there's a big difference there, Matt.
Yeah, a little bit.
Awesome stuff.
Just the Orlando Magic growing up, Scott Skiles, that guy was my hero. I really thought I was going to play in the NBA at some point in, my young adult life.
No John Paxson there?
No, it was Orlando Magic guy, Scott Skiles,
Well, Scott, I mean,
I was a Bill Lambier guy. Bill Lambier was my other guy.
Wow.
See, I feel like I grew up in the same generation to where I'm like, for me as a white guy playing basketball, and I chose golf too over basketball. Clearly it didn't work out the same way it worked out for you. But when I decided that, I'm like, my guy was John Paxson. Even though I was a Knicks fan, I was like, dude, what he's doing on the Bulls is just stupid. So, it is what it is. But that's where we'll end it. Matt, thank you so much for your time, man. I know you had a long day. You played today. You got to play tomorrow. So, hey.
Thanks, Matt.
You got it.
You're the best.
Thank you so much.
You're the best. Thanks, Matt. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to Season 2 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. Make sure to hit subscribe and go to www.pullhookgolf.com for more information.